she a busybody, baby. If you want me, kept it turning up with everybody. Nah, kept it fucking on just anybody. Yeah, I got feelings for you, that's the thing about it. Yeah, you know that it's something when I sing about it. Yeah, mama used to be on disability, but gave me this ability, and now she walking with her head high and her back straight.
What is up, everybody? What's going on? Just checking in with y'all a little early here. I didn't even do my countdown. I just noticed. But figured I'd rap with you guys. Have it going live here around early afternoon. So just wanted to cover this topic. You guys see the thumbnail. You guys see Denzel and a few things in terms of masculinity. This was actually a request by one of my subscribers to talk about this in reference to masculinity and today's men, the modern men. If we got modern women, we definitely got modern men, right? It just makes sense. You're not a futuristic man or a past man, right? We got traditional men and all these other things. So I just wanted to give my opinion, and I know based off what I see and based off conversations that I've had with other fellas in reference to this, and what I see, what I think, my thoughts on masculinity and what a masculine man is. And that's why you're tuning in. You may learn something, but this is just my opinion and what I had aspired to be and what I learned over the years. Just a few lessons learned. So for you younger guys, even guys who are older, guys just trying to, working on yourself. We're all a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress. And a lot of these things I'm still working on, especially as a father as well. So before we get into that, if this is your first time tuning into one of my videos, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, this is a call-in show as usual. And whenever I'm live, I'm doing live call-ins. So go ahead if you feel the need, whether you're a man or a woman who has her thoughts on this, please feel free to, hit the call-in button there. It's pinned in the chat in blue. You can't miss it. Right. So shout out to you guys. Hit the like button. Shout out to all of my mods who may be in here. I don't know if you guys are in here or not. Hey, appreciate you. Believe what you know. I learned a lot from your channel. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. Shout out to Enos in here. Believe what you know. Guys, go ahead and shout out, if you don't mind, in the chat real quick where you're checking in from. I like to know where my subscribers and viewers are checking in from, age, sex, whatever you prefer, and the place, like I said, where you're checking in from. So that being said, man, I'll hop right into it. I don't want to hold you guys. I just want to, come on. I'm going to try to do a lot more of these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Masculinity, right? Is this something, which I know I've discussed this in the past, is this something that you can turn off and on? Is this something that you should turn off and on? People get into toxic masculinity and things like that, which a lot of fellas, would you just expressing your mind or what's on your mind and you conducting yourselves in a certain way, you're being told that you're being toxic and things like that. Maintaining a masculine frame is something that obviously socially you have to work on. Sometimes you're just born with it. Sometimes we have fathers and you're taught these things, but you learn a lot as you go. I think I had a gentleman on here a couple months ago. You guys probably remember him. His name is Javon Clark, the Masculine Mindset or Masculine Man Mindset or whatever. Dope channel. But he talks about a lot of these things that a lot of us we base our whole makeup, our ideology, the way we carry ourselves based upon three men that we've come across in our lives. And that's what he talked about. So if you sit back and reflect, a lot of the things that you do, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk to women, your business savvy, all these other things, you can kind of, roll it up into, or it all boils down into three men that you may know. So that masculine frame is, in my opinion, I'm going to just go down the line of some things because I took some notes before I even started this. It wasn't, I wrote it down really quickly because these are things that a lot of us as men, we should be able to rattle off really quickly on what our definition is of a masculine man. And are we conducting ourselves as a masculine man in terms of leadership when it comes to that, our business, our social life, and our relationships? Or are we just being one way when it comes to business and we're kind of being like, scared or hiding or conducting ourselves in not so much confident ways in terms of masculinity. So the biggest thing that I know in terms of this, which I see a lot of, is the arguing in this space. Somebody put in the chat red pill rage and things like that. We have to get off that. That's the biggest thing we're confirming. We're conforming, if you will, not conforming or wanting to adopt the characteristics of women as men. We want to compete. Well, the whataboutism needs to stop. Well, women can do it. Women can complain. Women can throw tantrums. Jr. Why can't we throw tantrums? Why can't I just lose it? Why can't I just go off and do all these things? You want to be masculine or you want to be feminine? It's certain inherent traits when it comes to that, regardless of how much we try to blend things with between men and women. There are certain inherent traits and certain things that make up attraction when it comes to that, and which is one of the things that we're boiling down to in terms of attraction and leadership. Both of those, but you can't just want to adopt the qualities of a woman and still be a man and say just because she's doing it, you spend your days just complaining all day. One thing that somebody's not going to respect of you is having a double mind. And what I mean by that, and that's a whole biblical quote or whatever, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Anytime you don't know what you want or know what you're trying to do and you're just flapping in the wind and you're constantly changing your mind on things, or you're letting other outside entities or your environment sway your beliefs and the way you think about something, you're not being masculine. You're just conforming and you're just being a sheep, for lack of a better term. You're not standing on what it is. Is it 10 toes down, they like to say? You're not standing 10 toes down by having those things. And I know somebody just mentioned that you were raised by a single mother. It's definitely a lot of these things you either adopt by men that you see in your neighborhood, at school, at the workplace. A lot of these things you pick up because these things your mother can't teach you, and which was my road that I had to take. I had to learn things dead reckoning in real time, becoming a father at an early age and not knowing a lot of this stuff. And I had to, they say you seek out a mentor early on. But if you don't know that and you're just like, I think I know it all, like I thought I knew it all, a lot of those decisions when it goes to say a man would sit down and tell you, hey son, hey young man, if you're gonna make a decision, you need to be a thinker and you can't just be flip flopping. When especially with you're with a woman, or if you're in a group or a position where you're supposed to be leading or acting or pretending like you know what you're doing, they're gonna lose interest in you quick. Especially when a woman who knows who she is, or a confident woman at least, because that's one of the biggest things. Is a woman wants to know that she's secure with you and that you know what you're talking about, and that she doesn't have to second guess. I'm not talking about the women that like to take care of men. So you guys can go ahead and cut that out in terms of that. I'm definitely not talking about those types, because a woman shouldn't be leading a relationship anyway, which a lot of them are, pushing the needle forward or basically spearheading the relationship by making sure. And a lot of guys are just standing behind the woman, letting her do those things. And that's not the natural disposition of a woman where she should be, you know. So guys, we definitely have to check that. We have to think, when I say that double-minded part, we have to think about all our decisions and what we're doing. You have to sit back and think and be strategic about certain things. Sometimes you don't have time and you just have to make a split second decision on certain things, because time is of the essence when it comes to that. And what comes along with that is speaking with conviction, right? When you say something, whether you're talking to somebody, even if it's somebody of authority, if it's somebody of authority, if it's a peer, a contemporary, a love interest, a woman, you need to say it with conviction, like you believe it. Like you believe that you're that guy, I'm that dude. A lot of a lot of men, and this is a person coming from a military background. I never had that fear of addressing a man when it comes to certain things, no matter what his authority is. And I think men respect men when it comes to that, even at a young age. Doesn't mean you're acting like you know it all, but it's not that you don't have that fear. At the end of the day, I'm a man. I have a conviction. I believe this is what I believe, and nobody's going to sway that. You're not you're not going to make me feel less than or anything of that nature. Now, it's not saying that you're not open to criticism, because that's where growth comes in with criticism, or you aren't willing to listen to anything that anyone has to say. Completely different, guys. I'm not talking about that. But you will speak with conviction when you're talking to, if you're in any relationship, you're going to say what's on your mind, and you're not going to be like, okay, well, she just said this. Maybe I'm confused. I'm not talking about not taking in input or not receiving input from someone, including a woman, because women, a lot of guys basically say by the nature of a woman being a female that she doesn't have anything good to say or nothing good to come out of her mouth in terms of that. Even when you are in a leadership position, for those of you who consider your girlfriends and your wives subordinates, a good leader still listens to, and I'm not saying that your woman is your subordinate as much as you guys like say that, but a good leader is going to listen to what their subordinates have to say, because you don't know it all, but at least you need to be able to display those leadership qualities in terms of that, you know. So that's definitely something to think about with that whole conviction. Be assertive in things. There's a time to be assertive. It's not a time to be like, hey babe, I didn't like the way he did that. Do you think I should address him right now, or do you think this? Do you think that? It's good to ask questions, but when it comes to certain things, when you start to lose a woman's confidence, which once you lose her confidence, she loses respect for you. All that's out the door. So that's another thing, definitely. But be a thinker, fellas. Be a thinker. I can say that, if you aren't a thinker and you just make brash decisions and you just fly off the handle and you're quick to anger, and basically you wonder why, hey, my life ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? My life is nothing right now, because you just make all these off the wall decisions in the moment, which is stuff that women do. Women make those, off the cuff decisions, and without any real thought put into it. It's just emotional responses, and that's not how men should be. We should be thinkers. We should be cerebral, strategic in what it is that we plan on doing, and think about the possible outcomes of what could happen. And we have to weigh those things before we make decisions. And sometimes you have to do that rather quickly. I'm not saying it's a split second thing, but you have to do that rather quickly, and realize, how this decision is not only going to affect myself, but her, my future, whatever have you. So definitely, I can't say that enough, because that was one thing my mother taught me, was definitely just be a thinker. You got a mind, you got your own brain. So definitely be a thinker, fellas. And that's I think that's just a part of masculinity. A woman admires that, a man who is a thinker. I mean, a man who is thoughtful. Same thing with, if you're self-employed or you're under someone, they admire a thinker. Unless you just have a thoughtless job where you're just a workhorse, that's completely different. Masculinity, slow to anger. Now, that the anger, not to say that anger can't be useful. You know what I'm saying? Anger can be useful in certain aspects, but you should be, even if you are quick to anger, it should be tempered, right? It should be tempered where you're not like An emotional man is something that women really aren't into. Even if you're displaying that in front of people and they see that you're always emotional, you see a lot of guys. I watch on YouTube and you guys see them on television. They just get highly upset and their emotions are like displayed on their sleeve in terms of maintaining that and being able to control it. Which being able to control your emotions I put that one of the top four things that a man needs to be able to do in order to become in an ascended state as a man, is be in control of your emotions. If a man that's not in control of his emotions is once again more leaning on the feminine side. So in terms of being masculine, you see most men who are in control of those things, they're calculated. Even the warriors, they aren't out there losing it. If been in any type of martial arts or been a pugilist or anything like that, that's the number one thing they teach you is to be in control of your emotions, control your anger. You have to learn to temper that, man. But some men, even in their 40s and 50s, still throw tantrums and go off, get into name calling and all these other things. And it's like, wow, like this how you been living your life? The dudes who put the beaters on women, dudes that are constantly looking for conflict or physical conflict to go out of their way to start shit. You know what I'm saying? Same type of guys, man. You know, as a man, how you carry yourself physically, how you conduct yourself. A man that's in his masculine, he walks with confidence. They have certain, classes they teach on this or blocks of instruction in terms of working on your social skills. But a confident man, you can see a man, as men, we know, we can look at a man, and even women, obviously, you can look at a man and tell that he's walking with confidence. You know, shoulders up, shoulders squared. He walks with a strong gait, not, light footed or light in the loafers, as they say. He has his chest out, head forward. You engage people with eye contact. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean mug as a man. You're not mean mugging because it's something I had to work on. When I say mean mug, you're not walking around with this face like I'm mad at the world because nobody's ever gonna want to engage you. And just because you're a man, doesn't mean that you're too. I mean, depending on where you guys are from, I've lived all over the U.S. You have men that take it as a personal challenge at another man, basically looking at them and waiting to say, sizing each other up instead of just speaking to a fellow human being or acknowledging that fellow human being. If you're looking at the person and just like, that's one of the things that Dale Carnegie teaches. And I got the book. I can never think of the name of the book. How to win friends and influence people. It's one of the things. If you guys pick that book up, if you haven't yet, um, acknowledge you never know who you're coming across. So start small talk with anybody. That way it becomes comfortable. But that's a part that shows confidence instead of you turning your eyes away. You turning your eyes away. Even with women, you turning your eyes away. That shows a lack of confidence. Some women can say that they may view that as creepy, but hey, let her think that. You give her a smile or whatever, she turns her head. I mean, whoever turns their head first loses. But you don't want to be that guy. Shout out to I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, man. I know you showed mad love in the chat last night. Shout out to Enos once again. I appreciate you, man, for the support. But yeah, you want to I think what the way I learned it is definitely, and that's how you can kind of tell, not to say that people, but when you catch somebody watching you and they turn their eyes, that's like a feminine characteristic. Not to say that you should be looking at men, but if this person as a man, if this person is in your line of sight or crossing your path, you know, speak to them and go on about your business. We're not about to do all of that, it's showing lack of confidence. So that's a part of being masculine, is standing on that and keeping it moving. You know what I mean? Definitely when how I was taught, you're when you walk with your gait, a masculine frame, so to speak, is you have to pretend, not to say you're puffing your chest out, but imagine a string going to the sky, from your chest, basically. You know, Shoulders broad, head straight up instead of, down or whatever. Body language says a lot, guys. Body language says a lot about people and things like that, from your face, from, you know, your mouth. A lot of things we don't realize these things till other people tell us. Your eyebrows, my eyebrows are furrowed. I don't have a natural smile, so it's something that I have to work on, and I'm conscious of when I walk in places. Even though you guys see me smile all the time on here a lot of times, but these are things that, just because you're trying to look tough doesn't make you masculine. Okay, so but the way you carry yourself, your gait, your walk, your stride, all of that says a lot about your confidence. You know what I mean? You need to be direct on a mission where you're going, instead of just, you know, lollygagging, as we used to say, and loitering around without a purpose. That's why you see a lot of men hanging out with dudes just don't have a purpose. It's usually, you would think that it's kids and teenagers doing it, but as a man, if you're in your masculine, you have a purpose. Whenever you're stepping out, you have a purpose. You know, and that's how we should be conducting ourselves, in my opinion. I don't want to say we should be, but from what I've learned, and this is, once again, guys, this is just my opinion. So you guys can, add your own flavor. You're your own person at the end of the day. But I know these are definitely things that people look at in terms of determining or how they view you. You take a sip, man. I'm sitting here talking. What do we got next? Treats everyone the same, regardless of their celebrity or how you view them as, or a bum on the street, for lack of a better term, or a CEO, waitress, woman that you're attracted to, whatever. You treat everyone the same, and you conduct yourself like that. I don't even want to say that's a masculine thing. That's just being a good person. But at the end of the day, it shows that you're not like, have preferential treatment towards people, and you're even across the board when it comes to that, which is something that I find is within the realm of masculinity as well. You realize that another thing, as a being having a masculine frame, and I've talked about this a lot. You hear a lot of other guys talk about this. Your time. You must have people. You must respect your time, and you must have other people respect your time, because once you let them, or once they, people will try you. I believe you guys call it shit test when it comes to women, but you have men that'll do the same thing. They'll test you, or they'll waste your time, or they'll try to pull some, as if their time is more valuable than yours. And if you give in, it's the whole takeaway. Strongest negotiating, now I don't want to be getting into sales, but the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away from something. But you have men that'll waste your time too, as well. So you have to be able to know, or people need to be able to know, that you respect your time, and you're not just going to let them walk over you in terms of that. It's not me. It doesn't mean you're going to be rude or anything like that, because a woman will lose respect if you just basically submit to whenever it is that, whenever she's ready. Most guys that women are attracted to, they know that this guy only has a certain amount of time. He's not going to be sitting there wasting time. So you have to qualify that person for your time, which is a part of masculinity, in my opinion. I might be off on that, but I think you have to realize that your time is valuable, and not everybody can just get that. unless they're paying for it. And if they're paying for it, still they still need to respect your time and can't be walking in or whatever like that. So a man in his masculinity and maintaining a masculine frame, he doesn't negotiate. And I said this earlier. You don't negotiate your beliefs. Whatever your beliefs are, or your convictions when it comes to things, you don't negotiate that with anybody. You don't let somebody try to sway you from that, especially, i.e., going back to those whole shit tests that we was talking about. Um, I just thought somebody come ask a question right there. Anyway, you can super chat that if you got a question, man, for that. Otherwise, you can call in. And once again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I know I just stopped my thoughts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't, comment below where you guys are checking in from in the chat. Shout out to everybody, your age, sex, whatever have you. You know, I'd like to hear where you guys are checking in from. Also, if you want to call in and with your thoughts on this, ladies are welcome as well. Link is pinned in the chat in blue. So back to what I was saying though. I just saw something pop up there. You don't negotiate your beliefs. You don't let somebody sway you. The shit test in terms of that. Uh, some women and some men will try that with you just to see where you stand, to see if you'll flip up, see if you'll switch up to conform to what it is that she has to say, and you just be like, hell nah, or that's not happening. You know, it's not saying that you can't compromise, but if it's something that you are certain about and you stand on, you just don't change it just for, just because she feels like it's a good idea, or it's convenient. It's more convenient for her, or it's more convenient for anybody in that aspect. So, just food for thought as well. Got to work on sitting back myself, man. Communicating effectively. Communicating effectively, fellas. Regardless, we don't argue. Masculinity, one of the biggest things is communicating effectively. You stand on what it is that you say. It doesn't mean that you are not open, as I said, to any criticism or suggestions or anything like that. It's a two-way thing, communication. It's not just a one-way dictatorship when it comes to that. And that's even with your woman. You have to understand the nature of a woman as opposed to the nature of a man when you're communicating effectively. It's basically, you're listening to what's going on, because listening is part of communicating, right? You're listening to what's being told to you. You're not cutting people off. You're not screaming, shouting, yelling. We're not doing any of that, you know. And during communication, you're open, eye contact, engaging, and you wait for it to be your turn, and you don't let anybody disrespect you. If somebody's condescending in the way they're communicating with you, that's something that you aren't going to tolerate, and you can end it at that time once it starts getting disrespectful. Because we're gentlemen at the end of the day. Regardless if you see yourself as a warrior, we're gentlemen at the end of the day. And we're civilized. We're civilized men. We don't conduct ourselves like trash, or like we don't have any sense, any common sense, or just know how to talk to people. So when it comes to that, man or woman, you don't let anyone disrespect you or yell at you. And that's, once again, valuing your time and being able to walk away from the situation at hand. Now, it all depends on the situation also, because I know you guys are going to say, what, Gerard, also depends on the situation. But these are things that we cannot negotiate with when it comes to that. Communication, yes, we can compromise on certain things, and that's what it's about, especially when you're talking to a woman. Women are as the great chaos used to say, are the more social of the species. I mean, even before he said that, it's well known. Women like to talk their problems out. So as a man if you're supposed to be in this woman's life, and you guys have an agreement, you have an obligation, I would say, almost, to listen to what it is that she has to say, and let her get that all out. Let her explain all those things. I'm not saying her yelling or anything like that. In an adult way, an adult conversation, you know. And then that's that. Same thing with anybody. You hear them out, and you come back with whatever it is that you have to say or your response, your rebuttal, and try to come to diplomatically come to a solution. Or where do we go from here? Or you just walk away and just say no deal. It's just that easy, man. But communicating effectively, guys, is something that we must learn to do. And use your voice. You're a man. Use your voice. Your voice is that's it's a reason why we have this testosterone and this base for a lot of us. If not, that's another thing you need to work on is being able to project your voice for sure. So very important, guys. Very important. What do we have next on here? A man that's masculine or maintaining a masculine frame, he is courageous. That doesn't mean that he's fearless. A lot of men, a lot of people say, or you hear guys say, fearless. You have to be fearless, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? No man is completely fearless. I'm sorry, unless he just has a mental illness or something, which isn't really, it's not the same. But you must be courageous in all acts throughout life, regardless of, not saying being fearless, but you must be courageous in the way you approach things, and being assertive. If not, you need to work on certain things. You miss out on a lot of opportunities by, letting that voice, sometimes it's cool, but you miss out on a lot of things by not being courageous. And sometimes it just takes a split second, but be thoughtful once again when I said that, as far as being strategic when it comes to those things. Uh, being masculine. What are we? 30? Damn, we already been on here 30 minutes. Sheesh. How can a mom encourage those traits? Um, I'll get to that. I'm gonna cover that anyway. Where was I? It's different. It's different, guys, when you're live as opposed to like you're able to rehearse or not rehearse, but when you do a pre-recorded video and you can just, But I just figured I'd jump on here and rattle this off to you guys. A few things here. Um, doesn't get involved in a woman's business. Sheesh, this is a good one right here. Let me circle that one. Masculine man does not get involved in a woman's business. What do you mean by a woman's business, JR? That means we don't get into the catty stuff with women. We don't get into what women should like and what they shouldn't like in terms of things like that. We don't argue with women. We don't get into women conversations when they're talking. We don't try to get into or interject ourselves into women's conversations unless a woman asks you for advice, right? If a woman, even if she is your own, you're dating, if she's your girl, your wife, whatever, unless she asks you, because that goes back to effective communication. Sometimes a woman just wants to get some shit off her chest. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you need to provide a solution in that moment, unless she asks you for one. So definitely don't interject yourself into a woman's business unless she asks you for advice on something. This is their realm. You know what I mean? This is their realm. Arguing with a woman just means that, makes you look highly feminine, fellas. Highly feminine, and trying to bait a woman, or which I've seen. I've had guys on one of my live streams try to bait women, and I'm just like, you're trying to prove a point, but you're trying to bait her with certain things, and it's just like, man, this is grown men baiting women by saying things. We don't do that. We don't antagonize. That's what women do. It's part of being masculine. We don't antagonize anyone. Men don't antagonize people, right? We don't do that. So that baiting and antagonizing is definitely a no-go, guys. Don't do that. I already said don't argue, which goes along with that. Complaining. Men, stop complaining, especially in front of, if you're gonna complain, I know we have these spaces. We have, you know, obviously like this live stream right here where I offer you the chance to call in and give your thoughts on it and certain things. That's why this space is here for you, and as well as other live streams people have for you to or posting videos for you to be able to get your gripes and complaints off. But at a certain time, where does it stop when we come in with solutions? We can talk about a few of these things or highlight these things, but where is it with the solution? And as far as a man, what part of masculinity comes in and takes place? What part of that man inside of you, right, takes over and says, "Hey, this is what we're going to do." So we don't complain. Whatever weakness that you have, even outside of women or anything else you have going on in terms of masculinity, you don't complain to a woman, right? You don't complain to a woman because she really doesn't want to hear that. At the end of the day, you appeal your weakness. You can complain to a mentor or whoever else, but in terms of other people, it's like the energy. It affects the energy. It ruins things. It ruins relationships. Somebody, y'all know, you guys know, we all know somebody who's constantly complaining. Even you might be in a relationship where someone's constantly complaining. It's like, God, man, all you do is complain. All you do is say, all you doing, and it's just like the energy it just drains the energy out of you. So just imagine you being on the other end of that, you being the person that's draining somebody else's energy, and you expect the woman to lay down with you at night and give you some sympathy buns. You know what I'm saying? After all that, so I don't know. You appeal your weakness to your inner self or to a higher power, whatever it is that suits you, whatever it is that you worship, and things like that. Security, masculinity when it comes to security. That's what women are looking for in terms of that. Your children as well. All these things come. It goes with relationships. You hear me talking about women as well, but when it comes to kids, family members, things like that, a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about is just interpersonal relationships with different people. You can use a lot of these things the same way that I'm talking about. Security. That's was it Maslow's hierarchy of needs or whatever? That's on there as well. Women lose confidence and respect when they don't feel secure, or the man that they're in search of. Really, at the end of the day, she's looking to know that she's secure with this man. And if you're struggling and complaining and unsure of yourself, and you're insecure, complete turn off to a woman, right? Your kids don't see that you're being a father. You're being spineless, getting ran over by everyone in your life. What security do they have when a woman, well, most women, the way this society's turned out now is completely different. But when a woman is seriously considered being with a man, she just wants to know, is this guy good for me? Can I feel secure with this man at the end of the day? Which is a natural thing when it comes to the yin and yang, the polarity of any relationship. But if you're just exhibiting that, I don't know, if somebody runs up on you, I'm running. If somebody says anything to you or disrespects you, I'm running. I'm not saying nothing. You can't depend on me for anything. You're gonna have to go, and I know y'all hate this. Any type of relationship that we're entering in, you're gonna have to come out the pocket and pay. You know, whatever happens, I can't do anything. I can't, whatever is going on around the house, I can't fix it. I can't do anything. I mean, who are you though? This is part of being masculine, is that the direction, the purpose, direction, the leadership. security, providing, all these things that are supposed to be inherent characteristics of being masculine, of being a masculine man. So last but not least, I'm gonna end this. A woman, when it comes once again, this whole masculine thing, she wants to know that you want her, but that you don't need her, which is the most powerful thing right there. You want her, but you don't need her, even after you provide all these things. And that's the icing on the cake right there. So, fellas, these are my thoughts, and I figured I'd cover it. Shout out to bro from, I think he's from Chicago. He wanted me to speak on it. So I hope this has been helpful. Shout out to everybody that gave a super chat. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do these more often. I think what did she ask? I'm gonna answer because somebody else had a question too, which I don't think is really a good question. Liking pictures on Instagram. I think you answered that question. A man liking pictures on all day on Instagram. It doesn't. I wouldn't say that it doesn't make you less masculine. Because you can be masculine like pictures all day, but like as far as purpose goes, what is it? What are you really doing? And I think that's what you were asking. I don't think that it has anything to do with what it is that I'm talking about, liking pictures on Instagram. For lack of a better term, like we're just talking about being masculine, being a man. Having that frame. These are things that I'll teach my son. You know, in terms of that. So, what was the other question? That can you speak on how a mom can encourage these traits? Well, you can. If you're a single mom and you don't have a man in your life, hopefully you can get a mentor for him. Or the best thing, like I always say, the best thing that any woman can give their child is a good father. At the end of the day, I don't know what your situation is in terms of that. If you're like some women who are just like, I'm gonna thug it out until my kids are grown. I'm not gonna mess with a man. I had this kid. I swore off all men, and I'm gonna be in this whole celibate situation until my kids are grown. And there's really no male influence outside of teachers and coaches. The best thing I could suggest, if you're stuck on basically saying you're not dealing with any men, or you don't know, that's out of the question. I'm just not dealing with any men. I'm just gonna raise my son or whatever have you. Then I would suggest that you get a some sort of mentor. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have to pay for it or something like that. So, because that's something that's definitely important. Like most men, especially within our community, most boys don't really get any sort of mentorship until they get involved in some sort of sports or extracurricular activity where it's something consistent. And I think Javon talked about this when we did our live, where he was just like, a lot of the moms that were single mothers had offered to pay him for mentorship in terms of the child. But stuff like this, you can find somebody on YouTube. You can find someone on YouTube, and I know kids aren't really into watching videos like this because I know if I was a kid, I wouldn't want to watch a video where a man sitting here talking about yeah, be this way, be that way. A lot of kids just want to have fun, especially if they weren't raised with the father. They just want to have fun, hang out. As long as you aren't encouraging or enabling those feminine characteristics within a boy, i.e., being emotional, overly emotional, spoiling him, getting him whatever he wants, which is the worst thing you can do for a boy. Not to say that it's any better for a girl, but definitely for a boy, you don't want to be doing the most in terms of getting him whatever he wants and having him throw tantrums and all those things. So it's best to hear it coming from a man's voice who, if I don't know the age, because age is going to play a big part too. That's why it's best to really get them while you're young, because A boy is not going to understand the value of it. Sometimes he does, um, but once you start getting into adolescence, it's really 3 years old. Yeah. So if the father's not in the life, then you know, once again, I don't know if you swore off all men. Just trying to do it the right way this time around when it comes to men. Hey, you just have to get in that vetting process and what you need to be looking for in terms of a man. But definitely, I wouldn't say swear off all men until he's 18. You got another 15 years to go. So it's a long time. But yeah, definitely now is the time, especially if the father's not in the life where he's able to directly influence. And I'm not saying cut him off from the father, unless you firmly believe that the father. I'm not saying you choose who you choose. You just said you didn't do it the right way the first time, which I'm assuming. It could be he could say the same thing about you. So if you already know that he wasn't a masculine man, or basically you just desired him based off of a sexual thing, and he wasn't shit, that's something you have to deal with. But yeah, definitely, you know, whatever guy you date in the future, you need to be intentional about, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Um, if you're not on that type of time, you know, straight up, you know. Other than that, that's all I got for you. You can book a session. We can talk further. You know what I'm saying? If that's something you're interested in. But yeah, which is how is being a single father different from being a single mother? Good question. So I've been a single father since 2000 2014. I've been a single father for 8 years, right? So how is being a single father different from being a single mother? Um, I think men are looked at more so as providers, right? As opposed to women. Women, unless she's this, well, that's a long conversation. Fundamentally, if I can just answer that the best I can, really quickly, a man is a provider. A man provide all the things that I discuss. A man provides all those things, or he should be providing all those things naturally, as opposed to when I say naturally, as a man being having a masculine frame, as opposed to the woman who's nurturing, even though she may have to be put in that position of something that's basically not her natural disposition. Um, men, all a single father, even though I'm not saying it's easy at all, he's basically going to be providing all of those things. The nurturing part may be a little bit different, a little bit harder, as opposed to the mother, but there needs to be a two-parent household at the end of the day. That's just how it is. That's how families. I'm pretty sure no matter what your persuasion is, your you know what I mean by persuasion. I'm pretty sure you can all agree it has to be masculine and feminine within the household. So that's the difference between that and a single father and a single mother raising a child. That's a longer conversation. That would be a different topic for a different video, because I would have to like actually itemize and list like a whole lot of things in terms of that. Even though there's a lot of women that are out here doing it, unassisted in terms of things like that, but so are men. Men are out here doing it as well. They just aren't really getting the same type of for the women who are getting assistance and things like that. The men aren't getting that because, like I said, at the end of the day, we're providers. We're supposed to have the direction and be able to secure the home, secure the household, take care of the children and things like that. Some men can't, and they'll just go out and just wife up anything just to have something in the house. So, okay, what else we got here? There is no better of the two, if I answered that question. Appreciate everybody. Shout out to everybody. If you're just now joining the chat, You know what I mean? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. Where we at? 27. We should have at least 50 likes, man. Get it up to 50. If you're in here right now, hit that like button. Stop being stingy. I should have been checking the likes earlier. Been dropping all this jewelry up in here, and you guys can't even hit the like button. Let me refresh that because I don't even know if this thing is. Yeah, hit that. Yeah, we should be up at 50. Dropping all this jewelry in here. This is free. I don't even want to say counseling. This is a free session. That's what, guys. That's what my live streams are about. Even with Avery, when we do our live streams on Tuesday, it's about in real time giving real solutions to questions based upon. Obviously, it's subjective because it's coming from both of us. But that's why you guys are tuned in to get a subjective opinion on something, and you ask these questions for sure. So where we at? 30, man, we gotta get it up to 50, man. Quit playing. Jeffrey Woodland, what's happening? We need each other, but it's in order to get it wrong. Food for thought already. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Would you date women with kids? I think kids, that plural thing is a little bit too far. You know, you got to understand the older you get, the older you get when it comes to these things, even with women, as you get up in age, it's rare to come across a woman who doesn't have kids. Or if you're in your 40s, probably her kids are grown. You know what I'm saying? But even women in their 20s got kids, so it's not like it. Well, I won't even say like it used to be, but for sure, But don't take my word for it. If you want to date women with kids, go for it, man. You know what I'm saying? She might just be the woman of your dreams. I always say that all the time. Where we at? I'm gonna go ahead and check out of here, man. This thing, y'all quit hitting the like button. If it was 50, and but it ain't but a certain amount here, man. It's being a stepdad masculine. I don't think being a stepdad makes you feminine. I think being a stepdad is just like, I mean, a lot of great dudes, a lot of great guys, a lot of great athletes, a lot of great celebrities, a lot of great men were raised by a stepfather, and that's undeniable. So I don't think it's makes you less masculine. You know what I'm saying? Single fathers, men usually never got time or assistance from the mother or child support. Yeah, all these things y'all are saying are in a perfect world. People with kids should be dating others with kids, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think that makes you less masculine or less masculine. All right, man. If we don't hit, I'm about to get up out of here, man. If we don't hit 40, because I need to get it to 50, but I'm about to run these commercials. If we don't hit 40, everybody can hit that like button right now and quit playing. Sheesh, well stingy. Oh man, yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up, guys. You know, we're gonna go ahead and hang it up. 37. We should have 40 up in here. Take those intermissions for some likes. Half the situations aren't doable to come in and be a stepdad. Not recommending being a stepfather or any of that, but situations happen. Situations happen, and people, you like who you like, and you know if that's what you want to rock with, that's what you want to rock with. You know, tons of blended families, tons of blended families. You just got to roll with it. What else we got? free questions from what I've noticed. All right, one more. We at 40. Damn, I can't believe I'm struggling for 40. This is the struggle stream right here. Shit was going on. Yeah, shout out to the struggle streamers. All right, listen, man. Hey, you guys have been great. You know, hopefully this has been helpful. If you feel like it'll be helpful to someone, make sure you share it with them. You know, I appreciate you guys once again. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't. Hit me up on Linktree to book a session to purchase my books, t-shirts, merch, all those great things. Um, just letting you guys know, I'm gonna be doing if you guys are building your YouTube channel or if you're looking to start your YouTube channel, I'm going to start doing sessions where you guys can book a session and we can go over your channel and basically do that one-on-one to kind of give you some things to improve your channel and to help build it and things like that. And I'll also be doing straight up like one-on-one trainings in terms of like thumbnails, video editing, and stuff like that. And I think I'm gonna be putting out a course too. So you guys definitely look out for that in the future. With that being said, man, much blessings and abundance to you all. Make sure you guys tune in every Tuesday for Let's Talk About with me and my lovely co-host Avery Woodley. I'm gonna try to do these around noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at least. Try to be on here more often and cover topics like this. Feel free to email me a topic or shoot me a topic you'd like me to discuss, or basically just questions in general and things, and I'll try to respond on a live video and things like that. So with that being said, much blessings and abundance. Peace be upon you all. Mercy and blessings of the Almighty. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.